Welcome to another edition of Play Branson. My name's Chris Meyer, and I'm here with Haley Westrich. Haley, it's good to have you here today.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
And so, as always, I got to tell people we're sponsored by ibranson.com. And so, if you're thinking about coming to Branson, that's a great website to check out and book all your shows and attractions. A lot coming up this month, the month of May. So we've got Bluegrass and Barbecue out at Silver Dollar City.
Yes, that's still going on, so be sure to check all that out. Great food, awesome entertainment.
And so out there at the end of the month, May 28th, Ricky Skaggs is going to be there, and the Kentucky Thunder. So Ricky Skaggs is really well known in the bluegrass circles, but every day they have different bluegrass bands. The other thing that's coming up in June out at Silver Dollar City is they're doing this new summer concert series. And so it's June 2nd and 4th, and then the 9th through the 11th. I said 2nd and 4th. I meant 2nd through the 4th. Whoops. We're not going to edit that out, though, because we like to see our mistakes. Anyway, on June 2nd, we have members only and Jason Pritchard. And if you love the 80s music, like Bon Jovi, Def Leppard. Now, I asked if you had heard of them, and you were kind of wavering on me.
I've heard of them.
You've heard of them. So this is my millennial. So folks, if you grew up in the 80s like me, Members Only is a great 80s rock band. And they were out at Silver Dollar City last year, and quite honestly, I was like, I never thought I'd ever hear Def Leppard at Silver Dollar City. And the people were having a blast out there. So that's coming up. On June 3rd, we have the Spinners, a big R&B group. And then June 4th is the Association. Now, some of these bands were actually a little before my time, but very popular. And then the next weekend on the 9th, we have the Lovin' Spoonful. On June 10th, Poco. And then June 11th, Rare Earth. And so, there's a lot coming up. Lots of, really variety of entertainment happening this year in Branson. So, I always say a lot of people think we're just country music, but this is just kind of evidence we're more than country music.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of that, we have kind of a different show with one of the entertainers with us today, and that's $1 Million Quartet. Fabulous show. We've got one of the legends here with us today. So when we come back, we're going to welcome Mr. Tyler Hunter. So stay with us.
The Best Western Center Point Inn. It's Branson's top hotel in the heart of Branson's entertainment, next to the Titanic Museum. Relax in the indoor pool and hot tub. The hotel offers a variety of room types. Enjoy the free hot breakfast every day. For more information or to make reservations, call 1-877-334-1894.
Welcome back to Play Branson. We're here with Tyler Hunter with the $1 Million Quartet. Tyler, it's good to have you here.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Obviously, if people are just now seeing you, you play Elvis in the $1 Million Quartet.
Yes, very fortunate to play Elvis because Elvis is my favorite singer, entertainer of all time, and I've been doing the show since 2013.
So let's talk a little bit just about like how you got to Branson and just kind of your history. So you're from Lincoln, Nebraska, I read, and so kind of give us your history really before you came to Branson.
So I was born back in 1990 in Lincoln, Nebraska. And pretty much grew up there my whole life. And when I was young, I'd always heard Elvis on the radio at Grandma's house and stuff like that. And she took me to see an Elvis tribute artist show in Omaha, Nebraska, with a guy by the name of Bill Castile. Okay. And he actually played here in Branson for a while.
Yes.
And he basically kind of gave me my start and helped me out and taught me a lot about it, And from there I started doing talent shows at high school and stuff like that, playing at nursing homes around town, and decided to go out and do a few contests, and did pretty well, and got a call about like a year later from Legends in Concert, and went to work for them and did several locations, and eventually I went to New York and auditioned back in 2012 for the $1 Million Quartet, and they ended up opening a show in Vegas, and so I went out there, and that's where I kind of...
So from Vegas, then you came to the show here in Branson, then, is that right?
Well, I was in Vegas from January to September 2013, and in September I left, and they did a national tour. I think they did 3 of them, and this was a second tour, And when the tour was over, my wife and I moved back to Las Vegas, did a little show at Treasure Island for a while, which was pretty neat. And then I got the call, hey, you want to come do $1 Million Quartet in Branson, Missouri? And I was like, of course, because I love this area and I got family around here. And $1 Million Quartet's one of the things, once you start, you just can't stop. It always brings you back in. So very blessed to be here.
Okay.
So when you're not performing with $1 Million Quartet, what do you like to do in your free time?
Well, I like to spend a lot of time with my family. I got my wife, as I said, a beautiful 7-month-old baby girl. It's got hair about like this.
Oh my goodness!
I'm telling you, it's out there, but it's red. Really, when my beard grows out, it's red. So I spend a lot of time with him, and then Cliff Wright, he's the Johnny Cash in our show. Him and I built an all vintage studio here in town using old ribbon mics and tape machines. And so we do a lot of recording in there. We have a rockabilly band. We go out and we play some shows and stuff like that. So I stay busy, with family and music in my free time, and I enjoy it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you have been doing some Elvis tribute contest in the past and been doing pretty successful at it, I guess.
Yeah, I've done a few contests, not a whole lot. The first year, really, I started trying to do contests. I did about 4 or 5, and I did okay. I competed at Elvis Explosion in 2012 and was fortunate enough to win that.
Wow.
And then this January or February, I can't remember when it was, end of January, I went up to Sioux City, Iowa at the Hard Rock Casino that they have there and competed in the Ultimate Elvis preliminary contest there and ended up taking first place. So very blessed. And
Awesome.
so now in August we get to go down to Memphis and compete for the grand prize.
And so we're going to talk a little bit about the show in the next segment, but you're really the young Elvis at the end of the day. You're playing a 21-year-old Elvis, right?
Yeah, which is hard. Every year you get older, you know what I'm saying? I'm still young, but it's like, you start getting older and going out and you go, boy, he was something back then. So, but it's fun to do it. So.
Well, and I have an actual Elvis story. And
Really?
so years ago, I grew up in Harrison, Arkansas, just south of here. And in the hotel business there, Elvis stayed at our hotel for about a week. And I think at that point in time, he was with his girlfriend whose grandfather had passed away or something like that. But I actually have a picture of Elvis getting into his car, and I'm in the background. And so I had a fork that he had eaten off of. And I ended up giving it to the neighbor kid. If you knew, one of those things, if you knew now what you knew then,
Yeah.
you could have saved a lot of that stuff and probably cloned him if you had a piece of his hair or something.
This Elvis's fork?
Yeah. So
Anybody?
so anyway, but a lot of people don't remember that he was here in this area, and that was really shortly before he died. So that's my Elvis story. And with that, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back.
One jam session, 21 massive hit songs, an electrifying true story. Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, Carl Perkins, and Elvis Presley. $1 Million Quartet, based on the Tony Award-winning musical, now playing at the Welk Resort Theater in Branson. Be inspired by a phenomenal true story and travel back to December 4th, 1956, when the father of rock and roll, Sam Phillips, brought together 4 legends for a once-in-a-lifetime performance. $1 Million Quartet brings the greatest rock jam session of all time to life, featuring a score of rock hits like Blue Suede Shoes, Great Balls of Fire, Walk the Line, Hound Dog, and more. See what fans are raving about. Call 417-337-SHOW or go to mdqbranson.com. $1 Million Quartet at the Welk Resort Theater.
Welcome back to Play Branson. You just saw a little video clip of the show there, and hopefully that got you excited. And so, Tyler, folks that have maybe never seen the show, never heard of it, tell them about $1 Million Quartet, because it's really based on a true story.
Yeah, it is, and it's actually a great history lesson for people who don't know the story. So back in December of 1956, Carl Perkins was recording at Sun Records. Jerry Lee was a new kid on the block, and he was a session player at the time, or he was playing on Carl's record anyways. And Johnny Cash was in town, and Elvis happened to be in town. And so Johnny and Elvis stopped by Sun Records, and the four of them, just started jamming and hanging out. And, one of the geniuses, I can't remember if it was Sam Phillips or Cowboy Jack Clemens that was helping him there at the time, but one of them pressed record back there, and they got all of this live, and the guys had no idea they were even being recorded. It wasn't even released until after Elvis passed away, I think. So, so really cool history lesson. And what we basically do is we take that night and a lot of history and cram it into one evening. You get to see when Elvis and Johnny and Carl and Jerry Lee all first walked into Sun Records, fresh, brand new, and Sam Phillips, brings all that amazing talent out of them, and then we go on with the story.
So I've seen this show a few times now. Absolutely love it. But
Thank
tell
you.
me what your favorite part of the show is.
My favorite part of the show, it varies from night to night because we do the same show, but we try to keep it as interesting as possible. We have fun on stage. I really like when we do Peace in the Valley because it's just me starting off on the guitar and then the people come in with the harmonies, and it's really, really, really beautiful. I enjoy it, and I like playing rock and roll. So
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I went opening night or whatever you call it, the premiere night. And what was really interesting is after the show, Tony Orlando came out and really encouraged you guys. I mean, I'm guessing you remember that.
he did. He Tony was great, and I couldn't even believe I was meeting Tony Orlando. You know what I'm saying? This was really cool, and he such a nice guy. I mean, he came up to each one of us individually and spent a few minutes with us explaining how great he thought that we did, and to Johnny Cash, and I was really blessed to have him come up and say that to me. It was super cool.
I thought that was a really special moment, and I know I took some photographs of it. So if you don't have any or you want some, I'll have to dig them up and give them to you. But I just thought that was really neat of one entertainer encouraging another entertainer, and of course Tony has a history there with the Welk Resort and the Welk Theater, so I think obviously he wanted to see that the whole Welk organization succeed.
Right.
And so tell people when is the show? How many times are you guys doing it a week, and when's your schedule throughout the year?
Okay. Right now, our schedule, we are playing, well, it's easier to say when we're off. We're off Mondays and Fridays and Sundays at the moment. And for the most part, we're just going to be off Mondays and Fridays. So we'll be playing Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And our shows start at 8 p.m.
Okay, so 5 nights a week, really throughout most of the year then.
Yeah. We have a few weeks off here and there. But for the most part, we'll be playing all the way through New Year's Eve, and every New Year's Eve we do a big New Year's Eve show, and which is kind of cool because once we get done doing the show, because you can't really change the show, we come out afterwards and we just play what we want to play, and it's a lot of fun.
So this show is a little different than a typical Branson show because it's also got some dialogue in it as well. So it's almost like would you almost call it a musical?
Like a hillbilly musical. If that makes sense, which hopefully doesn't scare anybody off. No, it's unique. It's cool. I mean, we're not singing our lines or anything like that. But it's just you get to see these guys interact with each other. Because we always see what's Elvis and Johnny Cash like. Well, we see the the movies or the records for all these guys, but it's like who are they in real life, and that's what people get to see. And so we, there's a lot of acting in it. There's some drama that goes on in there, because Carl Perkins wrote Blue Suede Shoes, but obviously,
Now your your girlfriend's in this too, right? You're like stage girlfriend, not your real girlfriend.
And she does fantastic. I would love to work with my wife, but her name's Sarah, and she's got a fantastic voice, and we always make the joke that she saves rock and roll, and. But you'll have to come to the show to see why she saves rock and roll, or how she saves it.
Yep. Haley, do you have any other questions?
No, I mean, I'm just excited to come back and see the show for the 2017 season. And I have to mention this. My favorite part of the show is when the sparkly jackets drop down from the ceiling.
Yes.
And you mentioned you're getting a new sparkly jacket this
I
year.
am getting a new sparkly jacket.
That's
I'm
exciting.
really, really excited. But you know what? When them things come down on them hangers, every night I want to grab a hold of that thing and ride it back up.
Yeah.
But
That would be
maybe we'll save
fun.
that for like the very last show. I
She
don't
she
know.
likes sparkles. I've come to figure that out. and I think, I don't know, does your license plate say something
It
about
says I
sparkles?
glitter.
I glitter.
It
So
says you
sparkles
glitter?
and
It says I
glitter
glitter.
That's
and
amazing.
all of that kind of stuff.
You would really get along with my wife.
Oh,
That's right.
boy.
She's very sparkly.
So folks, here's the deal. If you want to see a great show that is really based on history and a point in time in history that really transformed rock and roll and a lot of our music industry. I mean, these guys, I mean, if you think about Elvis, I mean, there's probably nobody more influential than Elvis in rock and roll. And then with Johnny Cash and Carl Perkins and Jerry Lee Lewis, check it out. You're going to enjoy it. It's going to be fun. You're going to see some world-class entertainers, and that's all out at the Welk Resort. So be sure to go to ibranson.com and buy your show tickets or call 1-877-ENTERTAIN. You can plan your entire vacation there. We thank you for watching today. Oh, I about forgot. We're going to do a contest. So the first 5 people that will post on their Facebook and share this, go to our Facebook page, facebook.com, Play Branson, and if you'll like it, share it. The first 5 people that do that, I'm going to give you some free Chick-fil-A. That's right, free Chick-fil-A. So go do it today and Play Branson. Thanks again and have a great day.